folks. So I've decided to change the floor. I mean, not change the floor, fix the floor. Under this liner or carpet, I got holes. So I'm gonna remove everything, take this stuff out, and try to repair it. This is what I was talking about. Check these holes here. I have to cut out the whole thing. But I have to check the whole floor, because I know there is one hole more, and I don't know where else. These cabinets are pain in the butt. I'm fighting with it for like an hour right now, and I don't know how to get to these screws that hold these cabinets to the walls or something. I don't know. nuts here. There was two over there, but I don't know how I'm gonna get to this one's behind this one else. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna try to remove this panel and we'll see what's behind it. There is something here. So they tap the back panel, this gray shit. They tap to the side of the plastic cabinet. I'm gonna have to remove this screw somehow, but I don't know how I'm gonna do that on the other side because there is three big bolts, or at least two, holding it, and it's behind this panel with the vents on. So I don't know. I may try to remove just this side, and I have no idea what I'm doing here. I got this side out. Look, fellas, look how they put this shit here. The whole thing was attached to the plastic from the other side, so before they mount the whole cabinet in, this has to be mounted to the cabinet, because the bolts head were on the, the screws heads were on this side. Crazy. Now let's do the other side. And I think I'm gonna have to take the drawers out first. And I got a sink to disconnect everything. The hoses I already did disconnect. The refrigerator is out. I'll take this stuff out and remove at least this side. Half of the cabinet removed here and half here, and I don't think I'm gonna touch the other half because there is 3 bolts behind this fence and I have no idea how to remove this stuff. So I'm gonna leave it and try to put the floor somehow under it. I'm gonna remove the carpet now. crazy hole here and over there for now. It doesn't look good. Huge hole here, another on the passenger seat, little rust over there. I'm gonna try to weld this. Next day, I'm gonna cover the dashboard, clean and cut the rust out. I got a new bolts for the doghouse and this cover here. They were all rusty. Alright. Safety first. One bigger piece of wall. What do you think, fellas? I'm gonna be able to weld this stuff or not? Oh shoot. I gotta remove this thing. It's stuck. But that's how it looks like now. But this thing is not coming out. No way. I'm gonna cut this thing off. So this bolt is not coming out. I'm gonna cut it off. Now I think I'm gonna have to cut a piece here as well. Then I'm gonna try a few things to clean the surface rust. And this wire wheel has some aggressive stuff. It cleans the rust really good. I think I'm gonna use this all over here. And then maybe this. We'll see. Check this out, guys. This thing cleans rust really good. I'll show you, but it's gonna be long. There's of surface rust. Look, even the deeper rust. I like it. I clean all the surface rust. I'm gonna vacuum now. I vacuum a little. I got more grinding and maybe cutting, I'm not sure. After the wire wheel, I'm using this little sanding disc and it's working good. It's ready for weld. I remove all this plug covers because I'm gonna put insulation. That's how it looks like now. I got a bigger piece of sheet metal from a local nice guy. Gonna cut a smaller piece, take it to the truck. This is the piece I'm gonna need. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I got some knee protectors because my knees hurt as hell. I'm gonna take everything out and try to do some more work today. I want to show you something, fellas. I use the rust converter and check this out. I think it worked really good. It doesn't seem to be rust anymore. I was thinking to cut it more pieces, but I'm not gonna cut anything else. And I changed my mind after talking to the guy who I got the sheet metal from. He told me to just cut a bigger piece, don't weld it, cut a bigger piece and rivet or use self-tapping screws all over it and put the seam sealer. So I think that's what I'm gonna do because it's much faster. I got a welder, but the thing is, where I'm parked right now, I don't have a really good access to power. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use rivets, I think. I think it's a little bit too late for this, but I'm gonna put this masking film for painters all over at least the bottom, because I'm gonna start painting soon. I mask all this stuff as much as I could. I'm gonna scuff the whole thing, then paint a little on the edges, cut the metal pieces and bolt it or rivet it on. I don't know, we'll see. I scuffed the whole truck, the whole floor. I think I'm gonna cut one little piece more here because I punch it with a screwdriver. I was punching all the rusty places to see if the metal is still solid. And over there, here is all good. It doesn't look good, but it is. And over there is two little holes, so I'm gonna cut this shit out. And then I try to patch it. I got everything prepared. The grease, I'm gonna paint all these rusty spots. And then I'm gonna patch it. Wait till it dries and patch it. I got it painted with the rust reformer. I'm gonna wait till it dries. I'm gonna paint with the regular primer, everything, and try to patch this. I'm about to cut the first piece. I got all these pieces ready for install. Alright fellas, I got the panels ready. This one is drying outside because I painted with the primer. I'm gonna try to use the self-tapping screws for now, then remove them, put the seam sealer all around it, and either use just the screws or screws and rivets, or I remove the screws and use just the rivets. We'll see. Well, I'm surprised these little ones, these little self-tapping screws are holding it really good. I think I'm gonna use the bigger one and this bigger gap so they can reach the bottom metal like here. And maybe I'm gonna leave it just with the screws. I'm not gonna play with rivets. I'm gonna use this seam sealer. I got it online. I'm not sure what is it, but it should work really good here. I hope it will. First one is patched. I know it's not even close to professional way to fix this thing, but I think if I put a lot of the seam sealer here and on from the bottom, then paint and everything, I think this is gonna last much longer than this motor in the truck, so it's okay. This little one I'm gonna do on rivets. This one got one rivet, rest is self-tapping screws, and the little ones I'll see later. I'm done with patching, going home because it's raining like crazy. Nothing else to do today. It stopped raining, so I'm in the garage trying to measure the insulation because I got a bigger pieces. I got the kill mat too. I think this I'm gonna use for the cab over, and this thicker one I'll use for the Volvo floor. So I'm gonna measure this thing, mark the holes, and take the rest and do it in the truck. Alright fellas, I'm gonna prime it. Prime the whole thing, then wait till it dries, and I'm gonna put the insulation on. It's all primed. I put the rubberized undercoating on this holes that I have to bolt on. I'm gonna put a kill mat, little pieces on all these little holes, and then I'm gonna put thicker insulation all over this son of a bitch. I got the new bolts for the dog house and for this panel. I'll put the anti-seize lubricant on the threads. So maybe it wouldn't rust that quick. Covers are on. I think I'm gonna put more primer on it, just on the bolts, on the heads, and I'll be all good for the insulation. Alright, so I got the kill mat. I took only 2 pieces from the boxes that I have home, and I'm gonna cover all these little holes now. Cut it in little pieces and cover these holes. The roller. And now we are ready for insulation. All little holes covered. That's what I'm using for insulation. It's much thicker than kill mat. The kill mat is like 80. The one that I use here is 80 mil. This is like, I have no idea, like 1 centimeter, 10 millimeters thick. But it's like rubber or sponge. Okay, fellas, first piece of insulation is on. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of thick, but it's super soft. I like how soft it is. Kill mat is much thinner, but I think it's, I don't know, insulate better than this. I have no idea. I just hope this is gonna work good. And it's some kind of Chinese stuff. I'm not so sure if I would recommend using this, guys, because when you remove the paper on the back side, the whole glue, it sticks to your hands right away from the foam. But it's soft. I like how soft it is. And you don't really have to use the roller, just your feet, and it's gonna stick really nice to the floor everywhere. Insulation is all done. Now I have to buy a plywood or some underlayment for the floor. I got a 1/4 inch plywood, original floor mat. I'm gonna cut the holes, take it to the truck. I got all this connections taped for the silver ductwork tape, and now it's time for the plywood. First piece of plywood is in. I gotta take it out, drill the holes for the seat mounts, and make this hole a little bit bigger. First plywood is in. I make some grooves here so it's not that stiff, because the floor is not flat under your feet. I'm gonna make the second one and then try to put the floor in. Second plywood is in. I'm about to start putting the floor. That's what I choose. It's a vinyl plank floating floor. It was the thinner one, so it should work perfect under the cabinet that I have here. First pieces of floor are in. Doesn't look that bad. I was thinking it's gonna be worse. More and more done. Little by little coming in. Drilling holes, measuring everything. That's it for today. Going home. Next day, fellas. So I didn't show how I marked the holes for the seats. I mean, in the plywood, I did it from the original liner that was here, the foam and rubber thing, and it works pretty good. But on the floor, I did it from underneath. Look, all the holes except this one, the middle one on the back, you can do it from underneath. This one I just basically measure between these two and I drill it and it works. But all the other ones from underneath, it's okay to do it, and there is access to do it. I'm gonna remove the whole thing now. I'm gonna put another liner. Then I'm gonna put this floor back and I'm gonna cut the rest of the floor. All right, the floor is off. I'm gonna put this liner on and then put the floor back on, and I cut the rest of the truck. All right, I got the half of the truck with the underlayment on. Now the second half, and I'll put the floor and do the rest. Underlayment on. Okay, this one is back on. Start doing the rest. Little by little, floor is coming in. I don't know if I'm crazy or what, but I'm putting this even inside the cabinets, and I put the bottom door just temporarily, and it works. It's not even touching the floor, so it's perfect. All right, fellas, last part of the floor. Last two pieces, fellas. Last piece, guys. It's done. And on the underneath, I'm putting the seam sealer everywhere too. I got it right here. I'm gonna put all over these places. I'm washing the cabinets a little bit before I put them back in the truck. About to start putting everything back. First one is sitting. I was worried about the bottom because I raised the floor a little bit, but it was pretty tight, but I managed to put it back. I'm worried about the other one more, because the other one on the bottom got like I'm gonna have to grind the plastic, I think. That's what I thought, fellas. I'm gonna have to grind this plastics because the other one is flat. This one got this plastic sticking out, and it's impossible to put it back on. So I'm gonna cut it off. Got it cut off. Gonna try to put it on. Okay, second panel is on. Cabinets are in. Now this panel's behind the door, between the door and cabinet. Here and here. And little panels are in. I'm gonna put the seat belts on. Alright, seat belts are in. Now I'm gonna put the new for me from a different truck, but much newer than I had, from a newer truck. So I'm gonna put the door seals on, then the steps cover or whatever, rocker panel cover. I'm gonna put the seats in. Driver side seal is in. Driver seat is in. Okay, everything is in except this plate here, because I ordered the rubber boots because mine got a crack in it, and I have to buy longer screws for these little panels here because the floor is sticking out much more than the rubber floor that was originally here. It's not bad. It feels good. So that's it, fellas. I don't know if I would recommend doing this because it was a lot of work, but it feels good. So I got the shifter bottom boot removed. It was hole over there. I got this one removed because it's broken all over here where the mounts, where the bolts holding it. This one's too. So I got this one new, this one new. I'm taking this one and I'm putting it back. I mean, I'm installing the new ones. The bottom one is in. This is the new one here. So I'm putting it back.